I like nothing more than watching scammers get arrested for their crimes. In this case, we're going to be talking about a scammer getting arrested that I didn't catch, I could have caught, but missed. Now, I know a lot of you guys think I'm just out here lasered in on every crime, and, I try. But the truth is, there's so much going on every single day, so many tips coming in that I can't possibly get to it all. And sometimes, even worse, I'll have something in my hand and miss it. So today, I want to celebrate one of the people who caught the guy that I didn't catch, which in this case, his name was Abraham Eisenberg, or Avi Eisenberg. Now, here's my Twitter thread with this guy. Back in 2022, I had this scoop and let it drop. He exploited something called Fortress DAO for a little over $10 million. I said I wanted to talk. We started talking a bit. We moved it over to Discord. Ultimately, never made a story out of it because it was so complicated, so convoluted. And frankly, I had other stories going on. Not to make excuses, but that's just the truth. Meanwhile, somebody named Christopher Brunette did cover the Avi Eisenberg story, showed how he stole tens of millions, then later showed how he stole $100 million plus in something called Mango Markets. Well, Avi Eisenberg has just been convicted, guilty of market manipulation crimes, among others, which we will get to. Now, I wanted to interview him on how he did it. Here's that interview. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Christopher Brunette with us. You're the person who first outed Avi Eisenberg for Fortress DAO and Mango Markets. So can you walk me through how you found out about this and what you first discovered?
Sure. So I am an investigative journalist, and I wish I could say that I put all the puzzle pieces together and I tracked him down for months, but the reality is that I was in the right place at the right time because I was in Avi's Discord server where he hangs out to talk about trading crypto and stocks all day. So I knew him as a person before this ever happened. I actually kind of know. I'm friends is not a good word at all, but I have some insight into his mind. And so as both of these exploits happened, Fortress DAO and Mango Market, people that were in the Discord knew it was him because he was very open about it. And he was talking in the Discord, brazenly, planning how he's going to attack these different protocols and saying stuff I'm investigating a platform that could maybe lead to a 9-figure payday. That's what he said before doing the 9-figure attack. And then he would plan out all the logistics in front of us on the Minecraft chain. That's what he said, I'm going to attack the Minecraft chain. And then the next day, someone attacked Mango Markets in the exact way that he described. And furthermore, another big thing that caught him is that he used his Ethereum address that was linked to his real name. It was called ponzishorter.eth. And so that's where all the funds came from. And it was just, it was his wallet. So it wasn't a big mystery to put together. I was there and I saw him bragging about it, and people sent me proof as it was happening. So I had all the proof. And so I wrote an article about it on October 5th, October 2022. I was the first one to break the story. Exclusive men who hacked Mango Markets, which we'll talk about both. They're not hacks, actually. I use the word hack sometimes. Market manipulation is the proper word for it.
Now, Avi's kind of interesting because, funny enough, people had started talking to me about the Fortress DAO. I think you and I may have even talked about it in Twitter DMs in the past. So I reached out to him, and he's got this interesting way about him where he simultaneously is really dumb about what he says publicly, but then also he's good at hiding what he's doing behind a veil of incredible complexity. I remember looking at the Fortress DAO situation, and my mind was bending with what exactly he was doing. It was he was using some derivative of the Fortress token to get some underlying assets, and he said he was minting at a fair price. It was a disaster. And ultimately, I had a bunch of other cases at the time, But when with you were there, you saw him kind of doing this. What for you kind of I'm sure you talked to him. I'm sure he tried to explain it. How is he explaining it to you at the time, and why did you think that was kind of nonsense?
So there's two Discord servers. One of them is like just a normal Discord server where people talked about trading and crypto and stocks, but the other one was the Fortress Discord server that he built for the Fortress DAO. And he'd be saying one thing in the Fortress DAO. He'd like be talking about the plans for the coin, but in the other server, he'd be calling there were 6,000 investors in Fortress, and he was like very mean in how he would talk about them. He'd say like, these people are very stupid. They deserve to lose their money because they're trusting me with it. And yeah, he's like, he was laughing at them. He was like calling them all these names and like saying they deserve to lose their money because they trusted him with it. And so I saw this happening in real time. I was like, I went in the Discord and I tried to warn them, and then he had control of the Fortress Discord server, right? And he had all these sock puppets in that server, so he'd like type on one account, "Oh my God, this is such a great token," and then enough people would actually believe that, and people really believed in him because when they were investing in Fortress DAO, which is it's a fork of Olympus DAO.
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain that, but it's just a DAO that he started, and so people were leaving their money with him because he has a good reputation as a genius, right? He's clearly, his IQ is definitely over 140. Like nobody disputes that, and I don't know how high it could be, but so he's very very smart, and people trusted him with their money because they wanted him to trade for them, and he took advantage of them. He planned it out from the start, and you're right, he made it extra complicated on purpose. Like there were so many like meme coins and bonds and swaps and perpetual tokens like flying back and forth. Nobody could really figure out what was happening in the Discord, and that was on purpose. He made it too complicated on purpose so nobody could figure out what was going on with Fortress DAO. I can try to explain it a little bit more simply though. What he did in Fortress DAO, which was in 2021 to 2022, so this was before Mango Markets. And the reason why the Fortress DAO hack or exploit is important, it's because he used the money he won from Fortress DAO to fund the Mango Market attack.
Yep.
So he created the Fortress DAO token, and then he backed it with another token that he created, which was called Fortress USD, which was supposed to be a stable coin. And he left a backdoor in Fortress USD where he could print infinite Fortress USD. Yep. And so people invested $14 million in the project, and then he took the $14 million and replaced it with the worthless token that he created that was backed by nothing. And people got really, really upset eventually over this. And so the value of the market plummeted because everyone kind of saw what was happening. And as that happened, he used that as an opportunity to blackmail everybody because it plummeted. And then so he was like, okay, like I can give you your money back if you want to get out, but I'll only give you pennies on the dollar. And so he would keep offering people pennies on the dollar if they wanted to get some of their money back. And if they wanted their money back, they had to agree formally to not press charges or to not go after him legally. And so that's a common tactic he uses, is that he'll say that these people signed an agreement to not go after him. He did the exact same thing in Mango Markets.
I was about to say, after he exploited the token, so with Mango, it was a similar thing where there was a treasury. He did it a little bit different. He takes out a perpetual long, and so he's betting the thing will go up. He artificially pumps the market. Now those longs are worth a bunch of money. He borrows against the longs and then liquidates his position. That's kind of a long way of saying it. But in that case as well, he offered the victims a cut back of the money. He's like, I stole 110. I'll give back 67 million if you guys agree that you're not going to press charges or you can't go after me. Is that basically right?
Yes. And the exact wording he used was he would give them back $67 million if they did not pursue any criminal investigations or freezing of funds once the tokens are back. And so basically what he did is he robbed a jewelry store, and then he pointed a gun at the jewelry store owner and said, I'll return half the jewelry to you if you let me keep the other half and you don't press charges. So he calls it a bounty, like he's collecting a bounty. And this would be the biggest bug bounty in history, I believe. I tried to find a bigger one, but I wasn't
Well, it's a
unable.
bribe bounty. That's not a
Yeah,
bug bounty is where you tell them in good faith, hey, you have this problem. What he's doing is a blackmail campaign. I will say, this is what's so interesting about this guy. What I find so interesting is, I agree with you. It seems he's very smart. He also, but again, there is some kind of missing component where he's very stupid because before and after the Mango Markets exploit, apparently prosecutors allege that he Googled the terms FBI surveillance, market manipulation criminal, things like this, which is a disaster if you are the defendant, because what he tried to argue is, oh, this was a profitable trading strategy. I was just, code is law. I just tried to, make a little bit of money trading. And instead,
right.
by Googling, am I in trouble with the, things like that, you're showing your hand that the intention is to rob people. Is that right?
Sure. So his lawyers, what they argued in court was, quote, none of us want to be judged on our web searches, none of us. And so like they were just trying to say that's not an indication of guilt. But it's kind of the same thing where like Casey Anthony murdered her daughter allegedly, and then she Googled like how to asphyxiate a toddler, and that was used in court against her.
Yeah,
But
it's
you
so
were talking about
unbelievable. People
yeah.
Google that stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh about that, but it's just so unbelievable what people will put into their search bar. I think he also was looking up extradition,
Yeah.
like questions about extradition from Israel, things like that.
Yeah, so the day after I published my article, he flew to Israel, which again, the prosecution used as a tacit admission of guilt. But the excuse that he made, which he made the same excuse in Fortress DAO and in Mango. In Fortress DAO, he ignored it was supposed to be a decentralized autonomous organization, right? But it was totally centralized because he was in charge of everything. He made all the decisions, and he ignored the votes of the DAO. And the reason he gave for ignoring the votes were that he was being threatened for his life by Russian mafia, and so he had to do whatever he wanted. And when it came to Mango, he said he flew to Israel not because he was guilty, but because his life was being threatened. So he had to flee to Israel to be safe. So he's like that's just one of the tactics he uses.
One of the famous things he said before getting arrested was, "What are you gonna do? Arrest me?"
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah.
Go ahead. No, I mean, you basically got him arrested with your report. Ultimately, the prosecutors had to track this stuff down and stuff, but I think you're the one who kicked it all off. What's your thoughts?
I think on some level, I think he wanted to get caught because he did it. He planned it all out in public. He tweeted his justification for it. He said it was, and then after he did it, the 2 or 3 days after he did the Mango Market attack, he started doing like huge crypto podcasts. He did like a victory tour, and he was taunting the FBI. And he, even a few days after that, he made a new scam, and he was very open about it. He's like, this coin is a scam, I'm making it. And it was called Mango Inu, which was a play on Shiba Inu. And he made like hundreds of thousands of dollars off that by openly saying it was a scam.
Yeah.
And he's taunting Mango because it's like he's
Right.
kind of like
Yeah. Of course.
yeah.
What do you think about, what I thought was interesting is if you look at his post history,
Sure.
actually you find out that he feels incredibly slighted by these guys at Waves, which is a different crypto. He believes he was the victim of a scam, which is
Right.
incredibly ironic because his whole justification for what he did was code is law. It was allowed in your protocol. It's your fault for making it this way. I think you would say the same thing about Fortress. You guys trusted me. You didn't read the documentation correctly. I was well within my rights to steal your money. And then when somebody does the same thing with a protocol to him, he's all enraged. I can't believe it. There's even a tweet where he's like calls it theft. So I found that kind of unbelievable. The last thing I want to talk about, and it's sort of the heaviest, which hasn't even been prosecuted yet, I don't believe, is when they were searching Avi's computer or phone. I believe they found CSAM or CP,
Yeah,
uh, basically abuse material for children, to put it kind of lightly.
sure.
It's incredibly kind of serious. It's a twist that nobody expected. But do you think he's going to get prosecuted for this? Because I was kind of surprised that we haven't seen another indictment come up. Because basically, while they were searching for his Mango Markets exploit stuff, I guess they
Right.
found other, I'd say even more serious
Sure.
criminal, materials on his phone.
Well, they fought about it in court. Like it's in the court documents. They mention what they found on his phone and his laptop, but then they don't fight over it in court. They don't have a legal battle over it. They don't charge him with it. So technically, he's innocent. But what I found, I don't even really like talking about this, but I went through his public posting history, and he talks a lot about children in creepy ways. And so if like his public, what he's written about children in public fits with someone who would be guilty of that crime. So I don't give him the benefit of the doubt at all.
Yeah,
Um,
and we should be clear. Just because you haven't been prosecuted doesn't mean you're
yeah,
innocent. It just means we don't know if you're guilty.
right.
Um, wow. Well, look, I just wanted to say thank you for helping expose this guy.
Sure.
I always like to celebrate people who go after frauds, scams, investigate this stuff. Thanks for kind of getting this guy off the streets, as it were. Um, and yeah, I appreciate your time.
Sure. Well, before I go, I would like to plug my Substack. It's Carl Stack, Carl with a K. If you Google Carl Stack, it'll be the first one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it. See ya. Bye.
Cheers.